Hello everyone, welcome back to AeroHub and welcome to the series of lectures in airframe structures. And in the last lecture, we discussed about the expression for shear flow in an open section, for a thin-walled open section. And in this lecture, we will discuss how to find out the shear flow distribution for a unsymmetrical section, that is an Z section. You can see the section here. This is the research section, and we are going to estimate the shear flow distribution of this section. And this section is subjected to a shear force along y direction, that is Sy is equal to S. And there is no shear force along x direction. You have to understand that we are applying only shear force along y direction, that is S, and there is no shear force in x direction. And always remember that while analyzing for bending stress as well as shear flow, we are keeping the web of the section in the y-axis. This will be the axis. This is centroidal axis, and we have found out that the value of y bar is equal to h by 2. Okay, that is h by 2, and we are keeping the web of the section in the y-axis. And this is the expression to find out the shear flow distribution for an open section. Qs is equal to minus K1 0 to S Tx ds minus K2 0 to S Ty dx. And we have certain value for K1 and K2. K1 is Sy Ixy minus Sx Ixx divided by Ixy square minus Ixx Iyy, and K2 is Sx Ixy minus Sy into Iyy divided by Ixy square minus Ixx Iyy. And you can see in this expression K1 and K2 we have moment of inertia Ixx, Iyy and Ixy. Okay, so we have estimated the moment of inertia for the same Z section in the previous unit. That is, we have done the bending stress estimation of the same section in the previous unit. Okay, while doing that, we derived the value for Ixx, that is equal to h cube t by 3. Then we derived for Iyy, that is h cube t by 12. Then we derived for Ixy, that is the product moment of inertia, that is h cube t by 8. Okay, we have derived all this equation in the previous lecture. I am not going to derive that part because that will become more lengthy. This is h cube, that will become more lengthy. And now we have to find out the value of K1 and K2, and here we don't have Sx, so this term will be equal to 0. Similarly for K2, the first term. So K1 will be my Sy is S, Ixy is h cube t by 8 divided by Ixy square h cube t by 8 the whole square minus h cube t by 3 into h cube t by 12. Okay, so this will be again S by into h cube t by 8 divided by, I will take h cube t the whole square outside, so this will be 1 by 8 square 64 minus 1 by 2 12 into 1 by 3 1 by 3, it will be 1 by 36, and I can cut one h cube t, so this will be, after minimizing I will be getting minus 10.3 S divided by h cube t. This is for K1. Okay, similarly we'll derive for K2. This is for K1. K2 is equal to minus Sy is S, Iyy is, this is the expression, Iyy is h cube t by 12 divided by, we have the same denominator, so this will be I can write like this: h cube t the whole square into 1 by 64 minus 1 by 36. After simplifying, yes, we have to cut one value, h cube t. So finally I will be getting plus 6.85 s. This is 5, not s. 6.85 s by h cube t. This is the value for k2. Okay, you have to solve this, then you will get this value. Okay, so you got the value of k1 and k2. Now we will substitute the value of k1 and k2 in equation number. This is the equation number 1. So I will be getting qs is equal to that will be plus 10.3. We have minus 10.3. This will be 10.3 s h cube t integral 0 to s tx ds minus 6.85 s by h cube t integral 0 to s ty ds. Okay, now you have to understand that for this section the thickness is always constant. So I can take the t outside from this integral term, so that will be getting cancelled, and s by h cube is constant for both the terms, x and y terms. So I can take s by h cube into integral 0 to s. I'll write 10.3x minus 6.85y into ds, and this is the expression to find out the shear flow distribution of the given Z section. I repeat, the thickness value will be cancelling because we have a constant thickness here, and I am taking s by h cube outside, so you will be getting an equation in the form of equation number 2. Okay, now we have to find out the shear flow for the entire Z section. For that, you can see in this figure, I have divided this section into portion 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3, 4. Okay, similar to the bending stress estimation, we have to divide the section into different portions. Okay, first I will find out the shear flow for portion 1, 2, then portion 2, 3, then portion 3, 4. Okay, and we have to understand that at the free edges of a section, the shear flow is always 0. Okay, at free edges, Q is equal to 0. That means at Q1 is equal to Q4 will be equal to 0. Okay, now I will go for portion 1, 2. Portion 1, 2, and this is I had to show my centroidal axis, and portion 1, 2, this distance is h by 2 and the height of the web is h by 2. Height of the web is h. Height of the web is h. Okay. Now for portion 1, 2, the value of y is always a constant. The portion 1, 2 is h by 2 distance from this is a centroidal axis. This is a centroidal axis drawn here in dotted line. Y is h by 2 distance from the axis system. Okay. Now we are introducing a shear flow from point 1. That is introducing a shear flow S1. This is S1. That is for portion 1, 2, we are introducing a shear flow S1 from point 1 to point 2. That is from right to left. S1 is introduced from right to left. Okay, and you have to also understand shear flow is proportional to distance. At 1, the shear flow value S1 is 0, and at 2, the shear flow value at 2 is h by 2. Okay, therefore S1 is varying from, S1 varies from 0 to h by 2. Okay, now in equation number 2 we have a term, we have y term, then we have one more term x. Okay, and you know this is your y axis and this is your x axis of the entire system. This is the y axis and this is the x axis. Okay, so at this point the value of x is 0 because we are keeping the web in the y axis. Okay, and at this point the value of x is equal to h by 2. Okay, the length is h by 2, so the value of x here is h by 2. Okay, since we are introducing the shear flow from point 1, that is from right to left, the value of x is varies from, at 1 the value of x is h by 2, so it will be varies from h by 2 to 0. Okay, that is at 1 the value of x is h by 2 and at 2 the value of x is 0. So the x varies from h by 2 to 0 and S1, which is the shear flow introduced, varies from 0 to h by 2 and y is equal to h by 2, that's a constant. And you have to understand shear flow is proportional to distance. Now we have to find out the value of x. For that you have to understand at x is equal to h by 2, S1 is equal to 0. That is, at this point S1 is equal to 0 and at x is equal to 0, S1 is equal to h by 2. Okay, I think you got the idea. From x is equal to h by 2, S1 is 0 and at x is equal to 0, at this point S1 is equal to h by 2. By comparing this four criteria, we have to find out a value for x. We have to write a equation for x. So I will write x is equal to h by 2 minus S1. X is equal to h by 2 minus S1. Okay. If I want to find out for this portion, x is equal to h by 2. This will be h by 2 at S1 will be 0. So it will be satisfying. At this point, x is equal to 0, S1 is equal to h by 2. So h by 2 minus h by 2 will be 0. So this is satisfying. Now we have to find out the value of shear flow between portion 1 and 2. Let Q12 be the shear flow for portion 1, 2. Let Q12, now Q12 is equal to, in S by h cube, integral 0 to S1, because we are applying a shear flow S1, 10.3 into x minus 6.85 y ds1. Okay, so this will become S by h cube 0 to S1, 10.3. What's the value of x? X is equal to h by 2 minus S1 minus 6.85. Then the y value is h by 2 for portion 1, 2 into ds1. And the S1 varies from 0 to h by 2. In the previous step you can see S1 varies from 0 to h by 2. So s by h cube 0 to h by 2 10.3 into h by 2 minus 10.3 S1 minus 6.85 h by 2 into ds1. Okay. So I will be getting s by h cube 0 to h by 2. This will be 5.15 h minus 10.3 S1 minus 3.425 h into ds1. So 5.15 h minus 3.425. So that will be s by h cube 0 to h by 2. It will be 1.72 h minus 10.3 S1 ds1. Okay, these are simple integrations. So q12 is equal to s by h cube 1.72 h into s1 minus 10.3 s1 square by 2 from the limit 0 to h by 2. Okay. So we have to substitute the limit 0 to find out q1 and h by 2 to find out q2. q1, when you are substituting a lower limit 0, q1 will be equal to 0. Okay. And q2 will be equal to s by h cube 1.72 h, s1 will be h by 2 minus 5.15. We have 5.15 h by 2 the whole square. Okay. So this will be s by h cube 1.72 h square by 2 minus 5.15 h square by 4. So finally I'll be getting, reduce this equation. We have h square here, I can take it out. So this will be minus 0.425 s by h. This is the value for q2. Okay. Now we have to understand one important criteria here. We have this diagram. One, two, three, 4, and we introduce shear flow from right to left. Okay, we introduce the shear flow from right to left, and at point 2 we have a negative value. Okay, at point 2 the shear flow is reversed. Okay, now that means at point 1 we have shear flow 0 and it is gradually increasing and decreasing at a point, and this becomes 0 at in between this point 1 and point, that is at between point 1 and point 2 there will be a point where the shear flow will again become 0. Okay, because at point 2 we have a negative shear flow, that is from left to right. We have q2 value is equal to minus 0.425 s by h. That means that at point 2 the value of shear flow is getting reversed. That means there will be a point between 1 and 2 where the shear flow becomes 0. Okay, now for that we have to we have to find out the point where we are getting the shear flow value as 0. I put this equation as equation number A. Okay. From equation A, we need to find out the point where the shear flow is getting 0. Okay. And S is nothing but the shear force, and H is the geometrical value of the section. So this won't be 0. We have this term 1.72 HS1 minus 10.3 S1 square by 2. Okay. This is a term we can use to find out the point where the shear flow value becoming 0. And one more thing, we have an S square term here. So shear flow Q is in parabolic nature. Okay. We have an S square term. So Q is in parabolic nature. So to find out the point, I'll equate this equation to 0. That is 1.72 HS1 1.72 HS1 minus 10.3 S1 square by 2 should be equal to 0. Okay. Therefore, I'll be getting 1.728 S1 is equal to 10.3 S1 square by 2. This one S can be neglected. So, I'll be getting 1.728 is equal to 5.15 S1. Okay. From this, I have to find out the value of S1. So S1 is equal to 1.72 divided by 5.15 H. Okay. So I'll be getting S1 is equal to 0.3349 H. Okay. This is the point where the shear flow value is 0. Okay. And that is the point where the shear flow value is 0. We have to plot that value. The total distance here is h by 2. That is 0.5 h. Okay. So from this point, I will find out a point that is 0. Let this point be point number 3. Okay. And at this, not point number 3, that is point number 5. Sorry, this is point number 5. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be point number 5. And let this distance be 0.3349 h. Okay, so from this point, the shear flow is increasing, then it is decreasing. Okay, now from this point, it will be reversed. Okay, this is the shear flow distribution for the portion 1, 2. Okay. Similarly, we'll go for portion 2, 3. For portion 2, 3, you have to understand we are keeping the web of the section in the y-axis, so x value will be always 0. And this is the centroidal axis, and so y value will be varying from plus h by 2 to minus h by 2. Okay, so at this point the y value is plus h by 2, at this point 3 the y value is minus h by 2, and we are introducing a shear flow. Introducing a shear flow S2, not Q2, S2 from top to bottom. That is, we are introducing a shear flow S2 in this direction. Okay. Now at y is equal to h by 2, the value of S2 is equal to 0. That is, at this point, see, when we are analyzing the portions separately. At portion 1, 2 we will analyze separately, and portion 2, 3 we will analyze separately. Since shear flow is continuous, what you will do is, while finding out the shear flow distribution at point 3, we will be adding the shear flow at point 2. Okay, that is, we have found out the value of Q2 from the previous step. Q2 is minus 0.425 S by H. Okay, we will be adding this value to the shear flow value of portion 2, 3. Thus, we can conclude that the shear flow is continuous. Okay, we don't have any method to find out shear flow continuously for section. We will be analyzing the section separately, portion 1, 2, portion 2, 3. We'll assume that when you're analyzing a section, this will be the free edge. So at Q2, at point 2, the value of shear flow S2 is 0. Okay, while analyzing portion 2, 3, the value of S2 at point 2 is 0. Okay, now at this point, the value of Y is 0, that is at centroid, and S2 will be equal to the total distance here is H by 2. Okay, and the total distance at Y is equal to minus H by 2. S2 will be, what is the total distance here? The total height of the web, that is H. And you have to understand, S2 varies from 0 to H. In first case, H2 varies from 0 to H by 2, the total distance. Second case, for portion 2, 3, S2 varies from 0 to H. Okay. Now, from these 3 conditions, we have to find out the value for Y. So, Y will be equal to H by 2 minus S2. Okay, just check out this condition with each and every. For example, for this case, Y is equal to H by 2. So H by 2 minus S2. S2 is 0 here. So it will be H by 2. Similarly, that satisfies other three conditions. Now we will be finding out the value of shear flow for the portions. So portion for let Q23 be the shear flow for portion 2, 3. So Q23 will be equal to Q2, because we have to superimpose the previous shear flow. That's why Q2 plus S by H cube, and the shear flow is varying from 0 to S2. We don't have the value of X, so it will be minus 6.85 Y ds2. Okay, so that will be equal to Q2 plus S by H cube. S2 varies from 0 to H, and it will be minus 6.85 into H by 2 minus S2 into ds2, and finally I will be getting Q2 plus S by H cube minus 3.425 HS2 minus 6.85 S2 square by 2 from 0 to H. Okay. Now, if you substitute the value as 0, we will be getting the value of Q2. Okay, if you substitute the value lower limit, we will be getting this, all terms will be becoming 0. So we will be finally getting Q2 is equal to Q2. We found out the value of Q2 from the previous step. So the Q2 will be minus 0.425 S by H. Same value we will be getting. Okay, because this value we found out from the previous step. Okay, I know this is boring, but you have to cope up. Okay. Now Q3 is equal to Q2 plus, now we will substitute the limit as H, upper limit, S by H cube minus 3.425 h into h minus will be 6 point, this will be minus 1 minus will be plus. Okay, this is minus to minus, it will be plus. Plus 3.425 h square. Okay, you can see this h square is h into h is h square. So this will be equal to 0. So I will be getting Q3 is equal to Q2. Okay, that is at point 2 and 3, shear flow Q is equal to minus 0.425 S by H. Okay, the same value we are getting here. Okay, now if you go back to this diagram, same diagram we used, we assumed a flow from top to bottom. At point 3 we have a negative value, that is the real shear flow is from bottom to top. Okay, we assumed that the shear flow is from top to bottom, but we got the value of shear flow at point 3 as minus 0.425 S by H. So this will be from bottom to top, and the value of shear flow at point 2 and point 3 are the same. Okay, that doesn't mean that the shear flow is constant throughout the web. Okay, the shear flow will be varying throughout a portion.